there's always something else with the worldly winds. You know, there's really like so many of these areas that we focus on in the Dharma. They're not just concepts, right? They're not just concepts. They're real life events, experiences, winds blowing, you know, through us. You know, they're really things that we experience, and they're not easy for us to navigate. Not easy for us to navigate. Yeah. So I had an experience this week, which was it's a combination of a bunch of the different winds. You know, it was. I felt like I was got rewarded for something and promised something. I got promised something in the future. And this is in the Dharma world. This is in the Dharma world. I'm going to keep it simple here. I'm change the names to protect the innocent. Remember that expression? I'm not going to talk about it, but this is something that was promised, and very clearly. Like this, not a gray area, not like we'll see, maybe something could work out. Definitely, date set, everything set. Yeah. And so I got an email just a few days ago. This is involved both Susan and myself. Email a few days ago saying, in no uncertain terms, that that we're breaking that promise. That's it. Life is complicated. Things are complicated. Things have changed. Can't do that. And thanks. Hopefully, it can go with the flow. Yeah. So here's the thing. No, I can't go with the flow. Now, here's the thing, because we get it's so powerful to experience these moments of disappointment, right? Disappointment. Yeah. This is a big one. This is a big one for us. And it was like, what? This is not okay, right? This is not okay, right? So I said, okay, we're going to send this out. We'll send this out to somebody else we know, another Dharma person who's really level-headed, really pretty equanimous, pretty non-judgmental. And we like to think that we're all pretty non-judgmental, right? So what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And this person writes back, what the F? This is wrong. Yeah. So, and of course, that's validating, because now I'm getting worked up because now, now I have a reason to blame. I have a reason to blame. I'm so right. This is so wrong. This is so unjust. Now, just feeling into that. First of all, I determined, not to send an email back. Have you done this, like sent something back a little too soon? A little too soon? I said, no, I'm not going to do that this time. This is an important one. I'm sitting with it. I'm feeling, what am I feeling? And of course, Susan and I are talking about it as well. And this ties into so much, because what to do in a situation like this, right? I could just say, well, I'm going to take my cookies and go home. Well, I'm never going to speak to that person again. Well, I'm going to say bad things about that person to some other people. Well, no, those aren't working. Well, I'm just not going to say anything at all. And I'm just going to watch the feelings arise and pass away. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Because you've heard us say this before as well. This is a new insight recently. Sometimes silence can be wrong speech. See, something needs to be said here. this person needs to get a mirror held up around this. I need to not carry this, this resentment. This is how things fall apart here, in this communication. So finally, 3 days later, oh, by the way, I found this great cartoon about blame this morning, because I thought it was great. We always want, blame, we're always wanting, it's this guy, he's a he's a lion tamer. This is a show for the audience, a lion tamer. He's up on the stage and he's putting his head in the lion's mouth. He's putting his head in the lion's mouth. And he says to the audience, ladies and gentlemen, if this goes wrong, I blame my parents. Isn't that a beauty? Isn't that beautiful? So I just happened to see that this morning. It was like, yeah, I want to blame now. No, I have to really work through, see the futility of that, not just the futility, the unskillfulness. It's not going to resolve anything. It's just going to make the split bigger. So finally, it's a really good process, right? 3 days later, write an email with Susan's help. So something like this, not something like this. It goes exactly like this. It's hard to go with the flow here, given how firm and clear our agreement was. I would have hoped, or we would have hoped, that you would have invited a conversation which both honors the firmness of the commitment that we agreed on, that also talked about the number of all of the stresses that you're under and all of the pressures that you're feeling that would make you feel like you had to make this kind of decision. And a simple discussion about, oh, this is the bind that I'm in. Is there any way that Bill and Susan, can be flexible and pay it forward, maybe? Maybe down the road we can readdress this. But a conversation rather than an executive decision handed down from on high. Yeah. I sent that off. It's scary to send anything off like that pushes back a little, isn't it? We all have a little of that, conflict avoidance, and I don't want to ruffle feathers. I do want to ruffle feathers. There are times where we've got to do this. For me, it's been hard work, to say, what is right speech in a situation like this? This felt like right speech. And as it turns out, that response was well received by the person on the other end, who was also a serious Dharma practitioner. If we can't have these conversations in the Dharma, it's so disappointing, isn't it? You think, no, this kind of thing this happens in the world, but not in the Dharma. No, the worldly winds blow everywhere. And what do we do when we're confronted with them? So basically, although it's probably true that the decision will have to be in place, I don't know, but a conversation was offered. You're right. Thank you for making attending to the relational part of this. Let's take a step back or step to the side and have a conversation. So in that simple decision to go in this direction, we probably saved an important relationship. We don't really want to burn a bridge down here, and have lots of rough feelings inside. And so it was an opportunity to deal with the worldly winds in a very direct and powerful way for us this week. And I just want to share that with you. And we all get humbled by these things, and triggered sometimes. You know, I know my first thought was, actually, this didn't get too far with this one, was, oh, I shouldn't be triggered anymore. No, forget that. Forget that. The trigger's already happened. The triggered has a right to be here. How can I metabolize this, take a little time before responding, and then bring a little bit of skillfulness to the communication, you know? Yeah. So that felt like a kind of an important mini journey for us in the worldly winds, and one that worked out. So I just wanted to share something that was really close to home with us this week. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But this business about blame, yeah. But this business about silence can be wrong speech is also one that we all want you to, it's been an important insight for us, because we'd rather just go silent sometimes, except that creeping resentment then is rolling around in our own psyche, and it's got its own kind of toxicity. And so how do we channel that into something a little bit more skillful? Sometimes a little bit challenging, but a little bit more skillful in the challenge. So anyway, thank you for hearing that story out there. And